One-on-One Consulting would like to congratulate Justine Lyons on her induction into the RMHS Athletic Hall of Fame. The class of 2005 RMHS graduate Justine Lyons was born to be a basketball player. She loved the game from an early age, and whether it was shooting hoops in her driveway, playing in the third grade rec league, or later AAU, Lyons just loved to play. While attending her future Hall of Fame coach Kim Penny's clinics for younger players, it was obvious she had raw talent, athleticism, and a diverse skill set. Little did everyone know at the time that someday Justine would become one of the most storied and accomplished players in the history of the Reading High School girls basketball program. As a freshman, Justine was called up to be part of the varsity team and put up a total of 50 points for the season. It was a start and a way to get her feet wet. But when she came back for her sophomore campaign, even Penny was amazed at how much Lyons had developed in the offseason. Penny described the change to her in this way. "She's improved the quickest I've ever seen in a player, and as much as she's young, she's also a great leader." The 5'9" Lyons would soon become a dominant player both on the boards and as a scorer. That season, Lyons would be a key contributor on an outstanding Reading team. The Rockets soared to an 11-1 start and a ranking of 4th in the Boston Globe girls basketball poll, trailing only undefeated Melrose and traditional powers Andover and Westwood. Melrose had become the power in the Middlesex League, and the two teams were rivals throughout Lyons' career. In fact, Lyons would have some of her best performances in the biggest games, and in 6 games against the Raiders during her final 3 years, she would average 25 points per game. Reading would finish with a 16-4 record and enter the Division II North Tournament, where they progressed to the second round before losing to number 2 seeded Salem. At the conclusion of the season, Lyons, who averaged 13 points per game, would be named a Middlesex League All-Star as a top 10 player in the league. She was also named a co-captain for her junior season, both accomplishments unusual for a sophomore. Reading girls basketball had been on the upswing with 3 straight tournament appearances, and as Lyons entered her junior season, there were lots of new faces with the loss of 9 seniors, including future Hall of Famer Jenny Shoemaker, who had scored the most career points at the time for Reading girls. Lyons broke her finger, requiring surgery in the preseason, but she missed just 3 games and went on to average 21.5 points per game as she led a very young team to an 11-9 record and a spot in the postseason tournament. The team would bow out to number 3 Arlington Catholic in the first round, but postseason honors poured in for Lyons. She was named League All-Star and the Middlesex League's most valuable player, as well as the Daily Times Chronicle Player of the Year. Entering Lyons' senior season, Reading had lost only 1 player to graduation, and optimism was high that perhaps a league title was in the cards. Unfortunately, Melrose stood in the way once again, and the Rockets could not defeat their rivals. But they did end up with a league record of 15-3 and a 16-4 overall finish. Lyons was having another great season, including the evening of February 4th, 2005, when she scored 32 points at home against Watertown to become only the 3rd player in girls basketball history to reach the 1,000-point milestone. Reading hosted Danvers in their first tournament game, and behind a 31-point effort by Lyons, would dispatch the Falcons to set up a matchup at number 2 seeded North Andover. In that game, Reading had the best player on the floor in Lyons, who would score 28 points, but they could not overcome the hot shooting Knights. After the game, the North Andover coach would comment that Justine Lyons is an amazing player. She is all-world. And Penny called Lyons, quote, "probably the best basketball player I've ever coached, and definitely the most talented offensive player I've had." In her 4 years at RMHS, the Rockets won over 70% of their games. In her senior year, she scored 480 total points, averaging 21.8 points per game, which put her in the top 10 in scoring for Eastern Massachusetts. She also averaged 10 rebounds per game. Her 1,177 total career points would, at the time, move her into second place in Reading girls basketball history, behind her former teammate Shoemaker. Justine was selected as a Boston Globe and Boston Herald All-Scholastic, was a two-time winner of the Daily Times Chronicle Outstanding Performer for Girls Basketball, a three-time Middlesex League All-Star, and a one-time league MVP. After graduating from RMHS, Lyons would go on to play 4 years of college basketball at Division II St. Anselm, scoring 732 career points, placing her 29th on the school's all-time career points list. In looking back on Justine's career, Coach Penny would write, "Justine is one of Reading's all-time most impressive athletes, a naturally gifted basketball player with an air of cool confidence about her. Justine's strong competitive spirit made an immediate and lasting impact on our program."
Wow, man! Unbelievable!
It is with great pride that we welcome Justine Lyons into the Reading Memorial High School Athletic Hall of Fame, class of 2024.